What's up, everybody? Just an addendum to this video I thought was worth mentioning. In regards to free speech or free speech absolutists. Come on, I'm trying to fix my sound here. I think we recognize, and our civilization has recognized that historically, recognize the harm that speech can have, right? That's why we have libel and slander laws. And the reason why we have those is because we recognize the harm that can't be undone, or that is very difficult to undo, from lies, from slander, from inflammatory statements. So that's why we have these various laws and limitations on free speech. Now, in the case of what's up, everybody? What topic has come up? Come on, is this playing? Is it still recording? Sorry about that. In the case of slander, this isn't an illegal activity, but there's recourse to recognize the harm done by speech. And so this, I think, is an acknowledgement of my theory of communication, whether it be speech, written, in that irreparable harm can come of it that can't be undone by refuting it. This is the argument given by the free speech absolutists, as we call them. If someone is making up lies about you, if someone is spreading false information, you have to get out there and beat it with better ideas and better arguments and better evidence. This is the saying goes. But I think what libel and slander laws do is show that this isn't a workable or feasible strategy, because otherwise we wouldn't have these laws, right? If you could just negate the toxicity and lies that come from what people say, then you wouldn't need to seek out damages, because the solution would be to just go out there and beat them with better information and better arguments. And it doesn't recognize the cost associated with doing so, the cost and time, right? So imagine if there were no slander or libel laws. You could go to somebody's town, and slander and libel is not just speech, it's text, it's pictures. If there were no slander and libel laws, you could go to someone's town, a bunch of people could go to where somebody lives. You just make up some really defamatory rumors, like someone is a child molester. Like, isn't this like the Pizzagate thing, right? They said such and such a guy is a child molester. He's got kids chained up in basements in his thing. You could make up whatever you want. You could make fake mugshots claiming someone is a rapist and murderer, that he's killing people from the neighborhood, that they're responsible for, every area's got like missing kids, right? That they're responsible for abducting and murdering and torturing and eating the missing kids. You could say whatever you wanted to, right? Because, well, I mean, if it's untrue, just get out there and make better arguments, right? Get out there and say you're not a rapist, right? That's the way you correct the truth, right? And you're going to get out there and convince everyone who has encountered such lies that they're lies, right? That's what the free speech absolutists would say. They would say, you can't curtail speech in any way. You need to get out there and make better arguments. I think what the slander and libel laws show is that throughout human history, or however long we've had these laws, people have recognized the harm that can come from lies and injurious statements and incitement against people, groups, or just think of the abuse that can come from spreading rumors about dangers in society. You could say the water is poisonous, or isn't it illegal to say like there's a mass shooter on the run? That's kind of similar to saying fire in a crowded theater. It's the same theory anyway. I don't know. But there's so many ways speech and text and communication can be toxic. That's why we have limitations on it. Because without these limitations, we would have an extremely toxic environment. I think of other, I think more than a toxic environment, I think civilization would cease to function in many ways. But I was thinking of other industries, right? Like, we have mechanisms to control quality and protect people, whether it be, it's much easier with products because they're tangible, right? So you know if something is good or bad. You can't sell somebody defective vehicles without being held accountable for it. You can't serve somebody defective food that's going to harm people without being held accountable for it. If you run a gym with defective equipment, you could be shut down or be held accountable for it. And virtually every other product or service, even in intangibles like software or financial products, which are intangible. Same thing with speech. And it would make sense. No, we're talking about third parties and social media. It would make sense that companies would implore some type of quality standards, even if they can't necessarily be held accountable for it, because it's consistent with the way a functioning civilization and democracy works. So this was just an addendum to that video I was making. Basically, the point is, I think we recognize that the best way to prevent harm from society and to ensure healthy communications is to have some type of enforcement mechanism on what's said, which even involves punishment, which I'm not advocating for, but I don't have anything against the slander and libel laws. You can be punished and fined potentially a lot of money for your speech, for your communications. So to me, Twitter not allowing certain topics or deplatforming people is, I would rather be kicked off Twitter than sued in court. I think virtually everybody would agree. So I do think it's consistent with the way our society functions. And this idea that the way you beat bad information is with better information, that seems true when you first hear about it, until you kind of think about it and the way society functions. And we inherently recognize that rumors, bad information, lies, slander, the damage can't be undone by better information. Think of the time and money investment to even do that, and even then you wouldn't overcome it. You know what I mean? So the way we address that is to prevent bad, toxic, slanderous lies to begin with, either through the court system or potentially deplatforming, or I don't know, deleting such comments, whatever. I just heard that OAN was AT&T's getting rid of it. Now, why are they getting rid of it? Well, they had a big backlash. I mean, OAN has a bad reputation to begin with. I don't think I ever watched it because I never got it, but I'm familiar with some of the outrage about it. AT&T's getting rid of it. To me, that's a function of a marketplace, right? Like, there's still some trashy TV stations, but it's considered one of the worst, so it's going away. I don't really consider that censorship. I consider it that's how you filter good ideas from bad, right? Like you platform some, you decide to keep some, and you do away with others. People can call that censorship, but um, I think it's the only practical way to do it, right? Like certain ideas, certain companies, certain products are rewarded and given a place in the marketplace, and others aren't. And if you have some crazy idea that people don't like National Socialism or something, you got to go out there and convince people to platform it. And I don't think you're going to have much luck because, well, there's no real way to justify it. So I think it's the way it works. People don't necessarily like it, but it kind of exists for a reason. And yeah, hopefully that's all I got to say about that. And don't need any other addendums. Everyone have a good day.